What's up? Iron Tamer Dave Whitley here with another edition of How to Make Your Kettlebell Training Not Suck. Today is going to be commentary and discussion, not demonstration. Ran across a video in a kettlebell social media area, and essentially it said, if you do 100 reps of X per day, then you will achieve Y results. And there were, I think, 6 different movements that were listed. And I'm going to go through point by point. I've got some notes on my computer, so if you see me glancing over there, it's because I want to make sure that I don't miss anything. The whole structure of the video sounds confident and almost scientific, but it actually doesn't say anything useful. And I'm just going to go step by step through it. It says, if you do 100 halos per day, kettlebell halos, then your core will become more stable. So what does that mean exactly? What does stable mean? Stable how? What are you measuring? Is it bracing? Is it anti-rotation? Is it carry transfer? Just saying that something is more stable without having a clear definition is word salad. It doesn't mean anything, though it sounds kind of good to say you have a stable core. The second one is if you do 100 side swings, which I don't advocate anybody do. The way it's demonstrated is you get into this sort of semi-hinged, bent over position and do this sort of golf swing action like that. I think that there's no reason to do that. I think that it is potentially dangerous, but the problem I have with it in this particular video, it says if you do 100 side swings per day, you won't have any fat on your obliques. That's the old straight up myth of spot reduction. Body fat is driven by energy balance, calories in versus calories out, not exercise selection. And you can do side swings every day, all day for the rest of your life. And if you eat over maintenance level, you're going to get fatter. The next one is, he says, if you do 100 high pulls a day, you will have beautiful straight shoulders. 2 things going on here. First of all, the thing being demonstrated is not a high pull. It's an upright row with a kettlebell. It's just simply this shoulder motion, pulling the kettlebell up under the chin. There's no hip movement involved. A high pull, by definition, is an extension of the swing. The hips extend, kettlebell floats up, and you pull it up and back toward usually the forehead area. I've used it very often in certification bodies, the RKC, Strong First. We would use that back in those days as a progression going from the swing to the snatch to fill in that middle area. So it's an extension of the swing, should be hips driven first and then shoulders. It's not going to make your shoulders be beautiful and straight. What this guy's doing is an arm dominant pattern. And in my experience over the years, people who would do this for high volume or high reps would come in and it would actually wind up irritating the shoulders and causing problems. The next one, he says, if you do 100 swings a day, your glutes will become fuller. Now that's the closest thing to truth that exists in this video, in theory anyway. 100 swings a day is not that much, or it could be a lot depending on who you are and your familiarity with the swing. The problem I have with this particular video is this guy's swing technique is, shall we say, suboptimal. It's a slight bend in the hips and then a front raise with a kettlebell with unpacked shoulders. It's basically a front raise. And there's minimal hip drive. The bell is coming up because he's raising it with his anterior delts, not because he has any hip movement or he's not generating any power. It looks kind of like a swing to the uninitiated, but it definitely is not a swing. I have seen people on TikTok who are absolute beginners, or on other, like on the Reddit forum, who are absolute beginners that are asking for form checks on their swing. And this is the second day that they've ever done it, or the first day they've ever done it, whose swings look better than this supposed coach. The next one, he says, let me look at my notes. Says, oh, tricep extensions. If you do 100 tricep extensions a day, then your arm lines will become more defined. That's a direct quote. I don't know what an arm line is exactly, but it's more vague language mixed in with the spot reduction mythology. Defined by definition is lower body fat percentage with some muscle to be seen, that to show through. No movement is going to magically etch lines in your arms. I'm assuming that it's like talking about tricep horseshoe, this little line right here that I kind of don't really have very much of because I'm not super lean. At this point, it just feels like he's starting to run out of ideas, and his technique on that one is questionable as well too. Then he says, if you do 100 rows per day, then your back will become more and more upright. Now, rows don't magically fix posture. They strengthen muscles that can help support the posture in the lats and in the erectors and in the lower traps and stuff, but they don't directly support posture by making, you won't directly improve your posture by making those muscles stronger. Posture is part of a movement pattern. It doesn't really have anything to do with rowing. The other thing that he does is this weird grip that he does on the kettlebell handle, where instead of holding it this way, he goes into this ulnar deviation. So the ball of the kettlebell's there and he's holding the handle this way in this ulnar deviation, and he's rowing towards his chest, belly, midsection type area. That is an unnecessary risk for most people's wrists, and it has zero added benefit. You're not going to get stronger wrists doing it that way, so it's a bad thing. Now, all that aside, the bigger issue here is if you do 100 reps a day, then you will achieve all these things. But there is no mention of recommended weight or variability in the weight. There's no progression. There's no set or rep ranges beyond 100 a day. In a later comment, it said, get those reps any way that you can, which is remarkably just like, I don't even know how to, what? Any way you can. Okay, thanks, coach. I mean, there's a time and place for that, but that's not, no, just no. There's no progression. There's no rest days. Do it every day forever. There's no load variability. How much weight should I be using today versus tomorrow versus next week? There's no explanation of why this volume of 100 reps a day makes sense. Why not 97 reps a day? Why not 103? Why not 82? Why are we choosing 100 reps arbitrarily as the amount of volume that you're going to do on these 6 movements, only one of which is really going to offer any serious benefit, and that's the swing. The rest of them are ancillary. I believe that if you took all that stuff away and just did a bunch of swings every day, you would get better overall results than this guy's thing that he's laid out here. I'm not gonna call it a program. It's not a program. It's not a program. It's not a plan. It's not even a challenge. It's just a random workout. And if you want random results, do random workouts. I looked at his page, scrolled down a little bit, and he's got another video that says something to the effect of, if you give me 15 minutes, I'll give you a workout that'll kick your ass. Now, I don't know about you. I'm not a fan of getting my ass kicked. In my world, if you got your ass kicked, that means you probably got hurt and you lost, right? Maybe damage, maybe stalled progress, maybe injury, I don't know. If you want real results, random stuff is not going to get you there. If you have to have clear goals, you have to have clear definitions of how to measure those goals. You have to have a clear progression of the path that you're going to take to get to those goals. You got to have the clarity. You have to. This isn't programming. And it's a guy, and he's lean. I'll give him that. He's a lean guy, and he looks like he moves pretty well. But it's just another case of, if you're gonna coach people in something, learn how to do whatever that something is and do it exceptionally well before you try to teach someone else how to do it. Kind of a long rant. Appreciate you hanging with me on that. If you need anything, if you want to know more about how to get clear on your goals, or if you want to know about, any of the options that I have available for programming, for plans, for, any of that sort of stuff, send me a direct message or email me, irontamer@gmail.com. Happy to have a conversation with you, and we can figure out how to help you reach your goals and make your kettlebell training not suck.